scan a barcode on your phone and they'll actually talk to you. But the same applies here for the fabulous Peter Pan statue. Hi all, Sinead here again with Free Tours by Foot. Welcome back. Today's journey is in the beautiful sunshine around London. Now we've just literally come out of Lancaster Gate Station, and today I want to take you around Kensington Park Gardens. Now some great highlights today. We're going to see the Italian gardens, the Peter Pan statue. We're going to talk a little bit about Peter Pan along the way. We'll head by the Serpentine Gallery, Queen Caroline's Temple. We'll also see the Diana Memorial Princess Fountain. So stay tuned. This is a lovely little walk towards then the Prince Albert Memorial, where we'll head then back towards Kensington Palace. So it takes roughly about an hour. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a very scenic walk. Welcome to Kensington Gardens. We begin our walk in the beautiful Italian gardens, just across the street from the Lancaster Gate Underground Station. After a stroll through the gardens, we'll visit the delightful Peter Pan statue, which sits next to the Long Water, a body of water that is part of the Peter Pan story. We'll then visit the Diana Princess of Wales Memorial Fountain and the Serpentine Lido before heading to the impressive Albert Memorial and the Royal Albert Hall. Our walk will end on the grounds of Kensington Palace, the home of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Prince William and Kate Midleton. There's a lot to see, so let's get started. So I just wanted to start here, one of the better views of the Italian gardens. Now, just to let you know where I've arrived from, I'm just going to have a little look around here. One of the main entrances to the park is right across here behind that white van. And right across the road is Lancaster Gate Station. So this is the entrance to this part of the park itself. Now, technically we're in Kensington Gardens, which is separated from Hyde Park by the Serpentine Lake. And Kensington Gardens is another section of Hyde Park, even though they're called both different sections, separated by the Serpentine. But I will do a highlight tour of Hyde Park as well. But these stunning gardens, you guys, were a gift from Prince Albert, they say, to Queen Victoria, and they were laid out about 1860. Stunning Italian garden, and the influence, or the inspiration, shall we say, came from the gardens of Osborne House, which was the vacation or rental or the home where they spent most of their vacations, Prince Albert and Victoria and all of their 9 children. Now, the 4 main basins here are central rosettas, which are carved out in Carrara marble, Portland stone and white marble Tazza fountains you'll see here. There's also some lovely little stone statues and urn designs, including a swan's breast, a woman's head, a ram's head, and some dolphins. But Albert himself was a keen gardener, and he gifted this. It is now grade 2 listed, but let's have a little walk around. He himself was responsible for introducing the Italian gardens, which features of that are raised terraces and fountains and urns and geometric flower beds. So he brought that idea here in 1860. So let's just have a little look around to show you how pretty it is here. And there is a statue up here as well that was originally located in Trafalgar Square in 1858, and that was unveiled by Prince Albert II, but a very important man in society at the time. And here's a statue in the memorial to Edward Jenner, who is responsible for the smallpox vaccine. So it was moved to this location in 1862 from Trafalgar Square. But just one of those little hidden oases again, you guys, in London. And people tend to forget about this beautiful part of London. Now right down here there's another body of water, but we'll be walking alongside that very shortly, and that's known as the Long Water, and that was man-made as well. The Queen Caroline in around 1730 And it was the inspiration for Peter Pan. The famous novels of Peter Pan, The Child Who Never Grew Up by J.M. Barrie. It's supposed to be where Peter Pan first escapes that nursery and lands on that body of water. But again, more on that to come in a moment. Now, there's quite a few people around. Just to let you know, we've had a horrendous week of rain and thunder and just horrendous in London, and apparently it has been the wettest May since records began. And records began in 1864, so that will tell you. The first minute of sunshine, we are out and about, thank God. But the weather is due to get much better this week. We're in for 23 degrees. So I guess that's nearly almost 70 in Fahrenheit. Trying to work it out. I'm not very good at working that out, but I do look it up beforehand. So it's about 60 Fahrenheit here in London today. So that's brought quite a few people out to the beautiful gardens. Yeah, people are meeting in groups again. We are fully open. Everything is up and running, you guys. So make sure to check out our public tour schedule. We're running several different tours with different guides all around London. But our walk today isn't so much a guided walk, it's more of a walk with me so you can enjoy the beautiful surroundings on our little trip. And one of our first stops will be the Peter Pan statue. And this is really for your convenience as well, so that you, when you do head to London, instead of getting lost and losing time all over Hyde Park and Kensington Gardens, we'll have these routes mapped out for you on our Walk With Me videos, so you can know exactly where you're going and take that route and feel like you've seen all the major attractions in the park that you've come to see. Now, there's also plenty of places along the way where you can use a restroom. A lot of people worry about that, of course. And plenty of places to get a nice cup of coffee or something to eat on the water. Now, the design of them gardens, by the way, even though they were the brainchild of Prince Albert, was by a chap called James Pennethorne. You may be familiar with the famous fight scene from Bridget Jones's The Edge of Reason as well, where Hugh Grant and Colin Firth famously fight to vie for her affections. That took place there in the Italian gardens. Another movie that was filmed around here was Wimbledon. I believe it was with Kirsten Dunst and Paul Bettany. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe that was a Woody Allen movie. Might be confusing that with another tennis movie and Scarlett Johansson. Anyway, just coming up here is a beautiful little viewing spot. And one of several talking statues. I'll explain further in just a moment. In London. If you saw my City of London tour, you will have seen Hodge the cat. You can scan a barcode on your phone and they'll actually talk to you, but the same applies here for the fabulous Peter Pan statue. And it features squirrels and mice and rabbits and fairies all climbing up to Peter, who stood on top of a bronze statue. Why anybody would be sitting on it seems a bit unfair, but we'll have a look inside and get a better view of it there. So beautiful bronze statue, and there's the boy who never grew up, overlooking the famous body of water straight in front of you there, where in the fairy tale he flies out of the nursery and he lands on this body of water. And this is the Long Water, man-made, now a haven for ducks and geese and swans and all types of different birds. See a beautiful view there. And this body of water flows into the Serpentine, which is another huge man-made lake in Hyde Park, laid out by Queen Caroline. And this is where, if you have the kids with you, if you scan a barcode on your phone, it's quite amazing, because you will get a little telephone call that will call you back, and it'll be Peter Pan talking to the little kitties. So make sure you check that out when you're here. Now this is going to take us in the direction towards the Serpentine Gallery. And another famous piece of sculpture in the area is a chap called Henry Moore. And you'll see a lot of Henry Moore's work. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. A bit of pollen there. Henry Moore's work is all over London. And he exhibited as well in the Serpentine Gallery. Now, another thing that's becoming a huge tourist attraction here in London, and something everybody loves to do, and that is hand feeding the parakeets. Now, they are beautiful to look at. Nobody seems to have any interest in the pigeons at the moment. It's all the parakeets, and flown off there again now. We'll see if we can get... Yes, we can. We'll see him right up here. I've seen these before. I'm quite obsessed with these, actually. You'll notice he's kind of camouflaged in there. You might just make him out there with the orange beak. So they're very well taken care of and looked after here in the park. There is a lot of myths as to how they originated or how they came here. One of them involves Jimi Hendrix. Some say that he released them from his own exotic bird aviary, but I think that's since been demolished, that notion. But some also suggest they were used during the filming of African Queen here in London and released after the movie was wrapped. Either way, they're a lovely addition. So just to remind each other, not that anybody, or how would anybody even perceive to bathe in here? No bathing, fishing or dogs permitted in this lake. So right across there is the arch by Henry Moore. And he is a very famous English sculptor here. You can see a lot of his work all around London. It's 6 meters high and situated, as you can see in the distance there, on the north bank of the Long Water. It's here since about 1980. So you have 7 travertine stones weighing approximately 37 tons. And they were sourced from a quarry in northern Italy. It's another feature in the area. If you could just be here, which you will be, of course. It's so serene and so tranquil. It's hard to imagine that this incredible oasis is right in the heart of the borough of Kensington and Chelsea, which can tend to be quite busy. So just off in the distance there as well, you might get a glimpse of it there in between the trees, is what's called Queen Caroline's Temple. If I can zoom in on it for you. Queen Caroline's Temple was designed for Queen Caroline. Well, she designed it herself actually in 1734, between 1734 and 1735. But the actual building of it was attributed to William Kent, A little place of solace and reflection for her, a little meditation temple, shall we say. It was used, I believe, as a gamekeeper's hut for a period of time. And there's graffiti in there that dates back to, I believe, around 1821. The graffiti inside the temple. So that's another little thing you can check out as well. So it was restored, Queen Caroline's Temple, in 1976. So another rather odd, little cute feature there. Let's just bring you around again. Show you this beautiful space here with the arch by Henry Moore, just above Peter Pan's statue. Next, I'm going to make my way towards the Diana Memorial Princess Fountain, the Princess Diana Memorial Fountain, rather. And that's just a short little walk up here, where we're going to make a left. Really is beautiful here today, you guys. So this will be one of our series of Walk With Me highlights of Kensington Park Gardens, or Kensington Gardens. I'll also do another one, highlights of Hyde Park. And then in between, so you'll have a fairly good idea of how to see all the major features in both sections. So the entire area of Hyde Park and Kensington Gardens is equivalent to the surface area of Monaco, the Principality of Monaco. So rather large area inside in central London. Now off in the distance is one of the Serpentine galleries. We'll see that one shortly. So there are 2 Serpentine galleries in the area, named after the lake, of course, in Hyde Park. And I will show you both. One was originally a tea room, but you have the Serpentine Gallery and the Serpentine Sackler Gallery. So each have exhibited works from hundreds of famous artists, including Henry Moore, as I've mentioned, Andy Warhol. Banksy has exhibited his work here in one of the galleries, Damien Hirst, Jeff Koons, and Bridget Riley. So these galleries attract 1.2 million customers a year, and they're free of charge, as are the majority of the museums, as I may have mentioned before, in London. The only time you may have a charge is if there's a special exhibit on. So here is just a little welcome to Kensington Gardens. Facilities, quick history, tells you where the toilets are, if it's wheelchair accessible. So they're quite handy around as well, to let you know where everything is. And here is just something for those of you that are interested in the flora and the fauna. The Longwater reed beds, Kensington Gardens. These reed beds were established in 2010 to improve the water quality and biodiversity potential of the lake. The Royal Parks have now installed 350 metres squared of reed beds in a large term raft, and have constructed this viewing area to raise public awareness of the project.
So if you're enjoying the tour so far, go ahead and hit the like button. It helps others discover the video. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, subscribe to our channel. We have walks along the Thames, through Westminster, Camden, all over London. Visit our website for more about our tours, our travel tips, and more. We also have virtual tours and channels that focus on DC, New Orleans, New York, and more. Look for free tours by foot wherever you travel. You can support your guide with virtual tips, links in the description, and let us know what else you want to see. Leave a comment below. Now, back to the tour.
Now, you guys, as you can see, there must be about, I suppose, 40 swans here. These little boys looking for some food. They're so used to being fed in the area. Best kept animals in London. have a look there. They seem to be all congregating on the other side. Beautiful as well. Duchess coming right up to my foot here. I don't have anything, sweetie. She's expecting something from me. I didn't bring anything. I should have done, but they've quite tame and socialized, shall we say, the amount of people that come here with the kiddies to feed the ducks. Again, no swimming. But there is a section of the Serpentine here in London that's laid out as a Lido for outdoor swimming, particularly when it gets really warm, which we're expecting. We usually get some, people are surprised by this, but we usually get some really good weather in July and August in London. There is less rainfall in London apparently than there is in Paris, so I believe. So any sun we get, we're very grateful of. Now, as you can see, there's little boats there that you can take out as well. Go boating. They're very small. Sorry, I'm trying to zoom in for you. You pedal them yourselves, the blue ones. I think you can rent them for like £10 for half an hour, but they do family rates and individual rates. Now, over here is what is called the Diana Princess Memorial. And it's a fountain of water which rages and meets together, and then is quite serene and tranquil when it meets this body of water. And here is a wonderful picture of her. Actually, I want to show you right up here. I mean, they picked a beautiful shot of her. Welcome to the Diana Princess Memorial Fountain. And this was opened by the Queen on the 6th of July in 2004. It's actually 445 pieces of Cornish granite, and they say it was designed to reflect the chaos and the serene and calm towards the end life of Princess Diana. Now, it is closed at the moment, but you are normally allowed to walk around it, so keep that on your list as well. Diana Princess Memorial Fountain. We make our way up here. So this is one of the Serpentine galleries I was telling you about, but it also has a lovely little restaurant attached to it. So a lovely place to get a nice glass of wine or a bit of lunch or a cup of tea and a scone while relaxing by this beautiful body of water, Long Acre. And as I mentioned, several exhibits have taken place in there, but you can always have a nice little visit inside yourself. As previously mentioned, free of charge. Give you a good view of the entire area. So we're going to double back around ourselves now in just a minute. Beautiful swan. Very well fed, as I mentioned. Take a little short panoramic look around. Now you can walk along here and go straight down towards Hyde Park from here to the main entrance by the Queen Elizabeth Gates, all along Mayfair and Park Lane. Or alternatively, we will take a little detour.
Apologies for the delay.
We are going to skip ahead now to the Albert Memorial and bypass some of the less remarkable areas of Kensington Gardens. Okay, so we're going to head over here to the memorial, but there's something else I want to show you here. This is the Princess Diana Memorial Walk. And there are 90 of these plaques through the park. It's about a 7-mile walk, but it brings you to all the places and the buildings that were associated with Princess Diana and her lifetime. So if you'd like to do that walk, might be a good idea for you. Dog frightened me there, my nerves are shot. He came flying through the trees. I think he's chasing those squirrels. So here we have one of the largest structures in London. This is the Prince Albert Memorial, erected in 1872. It took 10 years to build at a cost of 20,000, I believe, which would be the equivalent to about 10 million pounds today. He died in 1861. So it was completed in 1871 and officially opened by Queen Victoria in 1872. That's the bronze statue of him there, designed by George Gilbert Scott. His father was another very famous architect, Giles Gilbert Scott, who's responsible for a lot of buildings and bridges, and the telephone box here in London is Giles Gilbert Scott. The Waterloo Bridge is Giles Gilbert Scott. So it's designed in the Gothic Revival style, 54 meters tall, and it's kind of meant to represent the ciborium over the high altar of a church. Opened in July 1872. I mean, it really is stunning in person. You'd have to see it for yourselves. No surprise, this area is affectionately known as Albertopolis, in memoriam to Queen Victoria's beloved Albert. And there you go. I will zoom in on it in a minute. Actually, I'll do that now. And it is facing, there he is himself. Let's take you across and get a better view of him. It's Prince Albert. They originally married as a political arrangement. He was in fact her first cousin from Germany, but he was a great patron of the arts and sciences. And one of his most significant contributions to society in London was the Great Industrial Exhibition of 1851, 10 years before actually. It was like the world's largest and first trade fair, when market stalls were set up from all over the world to exhibit goods and services from the relevant countries. I just zoomed in there on the Albert Hall, an amazing concert venue. Some of the greatest artists in history have played inside in the Albert Hall, but I have another tour done on that one called Albertopolis. This area is affectionately known as Albertopolis in homage to the wonderful Prince Albert. He was her first cousin actually from Germany, and they enjoyed a very, very happy, love-filled marriage. 9 children in total. Now, so when you're done sightseeing here, you can head down here then towards the beautiful South Flower Walk. Now, it's so bizarre. The weather is taking a turn again, I think. But we may get this done before the lashing of rain which is forecast. Let's take another just stroll, and we'll have one more look here around at it, so you can just see the magnitude of how high it is. It's really beautiful, you guys, in person, so put that on your list. And there's the Royal Albert Hall, and that was built in 1871, 10 years after his death, again in homage to Prince Albert. And we'll head down the South Flower Walk. There's another place there to get a nice cup of coffee, you guys. So a good thing to do after you've done this walk, of course, you can always visit into Kensington Palace when it's opened up again. It's opened up now. But you could always make your way down the steps too. And right around the back is the Natural History Museum and the Victoria and Albert Museum. And the Science Museum are all located just in close proximity to behind the Royal Albert Hall. Another beautiful area just to take it all in, you guys. Get away from the mania and the noise and the hustle and bustle of London. So yeah, those museums, you pick one or pick all three, depending on whether your families or whatever your relevant interests are. Keep an eye out for my Kensington Palace and Albertopolis video that we will be releasing in... Oh, we've released it, my apologies. It's been released the last few days. And that'll give you all the information you need about the area there of South Kensington and what museums to visit and what's available in all of them, the individual museums. This is the South Flower Walk, but we're going to take a little detour over here. We are going to skip ahead once more and pick up back at Kensington Palace. Now, just off in the distance there, you'll see Kensington Palace. But I'll get you a much better view now in a second. Not open up to the public at the moment, but it was purchased by King William III and Queen Mary II, joint monarchs, in the summer of 1689. Not the summer of 69, but the summer of 1689. Purchased from the 2nd Earl of Nottingham. So it wasn't originally known as Nottingham House. And again, purchased for something in the region of £20,000. Bargain. So in fact, William suffered very badly from asthma. Oh, it seems to be open, you guys, so they've probably opened up to the public. Fabulous. So we can have a little walk around then. Let's have a look around and see what we can get away with. It was also the home then. Queen Mary II lived there until 1694. She died of smallpox in there. William III, wasn't too long after, 1702 he died actually. He had a fall from his horse in Hampton Court. And then he developed pneumonia. And that was how he saw his end. Just want to show you here this amazing statue of Queen Victoria, which is quite impressive because this was sculpted by one of her daughters. 1837 to 1901, Queen Victoria lived for 63 years, 7 months and 2 days. Queen Anne lived in Kensington Palace. Also the rather unfortunate nickname Brandy Anne. She was fond of brandy. She'd had a rather tragic existence, actually. She'd had 17 miscarriages, which is very sad. But she, rumours of a familiar friendship with Sarah Duchess of Marlborough. And you will see a lot about that, actually, if you see the movie The Favourite with Olivia Colman and Rachel Weisz. Olivia Colman takes on the role of Queen Anne. She's amazingly played. She won the Oscar for that, actually. The Favourite. Keep an eye out for that movie. That will give you more of a history of the relationship between the two of them. But their last final argument took place there in 1708, and the friendship was over by 1710. Now here's the man-made round pond again. Lovely places to sit and chill out. But as it's open, I just want to go in and just have a look around at the outside. Obviously we can't go into the palace just yet, and I don't think I'd be allowed to film with the gimbal in there, but we can bring you a little further up. Now it's unlikely we're going to meet the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, but Princess Michael of Kent, I believe, has a home here. Eugenie and Beatrice did for a period of time as well. Michael of Kent, I believe, lives here, so it has been a royal residence since the 17th century. And of course, more importantly, it was the home of Diana, Princess of Wales, and it's where Prince Harry and William grew up in here. The building itself, the layout of the building was it was extended from Nottingham House to Kensington Palace by Sir Christopher Wren. And I was reading recently there, he was quite annoyed he was asked to do it, because at the time he was building St. Paul's Cathedral. Christopher Wren is widely regarded to be the Leonardo da Vinci of London. He built 51 churches in London. After the Great Fire in 1666, and no better man to do it. Let's take you this side and just see the... I don't know if I'm allowed to film here, but we'll keep going anyway until we're told we can't. So, I'm filming them, filming me. Back entrance would be where back part of the palace, and the separate wing is the home of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and their children. So again, up and running, you guys. Kensington Palace. I am going to ask permission actually in a minute to see if we are allowed to film in there, but look at this lovely little outdoor area. So when you finish your tour, you come through the gift shop there, and there's a coffee shop and restaurant where you can get a nice, again, bite to eat or a cup of coffee at the end. And there you have it, you guys. A little trip through the gardens and the palace itself. Got another just good visual for you now, one sec. When I walk away, and I'm going to walk in and ask about filming in the palace. But in the meantime, thank you again most sincerely for joining me. It's always my pleasure showing you around, you guys. Thanks for the support, by the way. Thank you for the stars on Facebook and for all your tips on PayPal and the Buy Me a Coffee on YouTube. It's very much appreciated. And your likes and subscriptions. If you do have any friends that you think would like our videos, please don't hesitate to share them. It's always great to get a few new subscribers on board. The more that subscribe, the more likely we are to be recommended, and also the more tours we will do. So thanks again. It's been an absolute pleasure. See you all soon, hopefully in person, and if not, in the meantime, join me on my next Walk With Me series of videos. And as I always like to say, if you have enjoyed the tour, I'm Sinead, and if you haven't, I'm Jose. Signing out here, ladies and gents, from Kensington Palace in London.